Hello, everyone. My name is Philipp Rittershaus, and I happen to head the RootCamp. And with me is my colleague Gaia Amatteis. And we try to bring you a little closer to the whole world of startups and why startups are important and what is actually all about it. First of all, we try to explain you what the RootCamp is, and then in the end, we have also a couple of videos of nice livestock innovations that you shouldn't miss. First of all, we really are happy to present our work because this is actually what we do the whole day. So Gaia is the program manager. Do you want to say anything about you, Gaia?
As a program manager, I'm responsible for the startup acceleration program that we will describe in a second. And so also my role is to interact mainly with all the mentors and the startups.
And now you might ask yourself, why is startup so important? It is about livestock. And let us explain you a little bit about what is the most important things on livestock. So we all need innovation, or the whole livestock industry needs innovations. And these innovations are typically being brought by innovative teams that not only have a good idea or develop a technology, but are actually facing the journey of bringing these technologies and enabling this solution towards the market. And that is actually quite rough journey. So starting from the initial idea, or maybe a failed experiment that lead to a new technology, they need support from all sides, because the way to getting actually the first revenue and to addressing the markets is quite a long one. So these young teams are actually starting very small, but in the end, they have the hope of really changing the world, and are defined by the products that are able to scale. So they develop a product that typically fits to the market and are able to roll out the product, and with that, the innovation globally. So that means they need to combine a certain components, certain competencies, typically starting with a team that knows actually a lot about technology, but then they need financing, they need a whole ecosystem to support them. And with the investors, it becomes very special. So this whole startup ecosystem and also the venture capital industry follows a certain amount of rules, or specific rules, that the startups, then the founders, just need to learn. And we, consider ourselves an innovation hub, we are trying to bring these innovations in combination with the industry towards you, so that you are, as practical persons, as farmers, are able at some point to really use these innovations. And it is not about just about the ecosystem, but also it is about a lot of education for the startups. As Gaia just said, she is heading the acceleration program. That is the educational program we want to introduce you a little bit. And why are we doing this on here at the DLG Connect platform? Because as RootCamp, we are supporting DLG in all kinds of that matters to startups. So the DLG has a certain segment that is called AgriFuture Lab in Hall 26. And we are there as exhibitor and trying to get the whole community going. And as one part to really get you closer to the startups and to the innovation the startups actually have developed, we offer a daily lunch pitch. So during the lunchtime from 12 to 1, we have a certain amount of startups for a specific topic that will pitch at the EuroTier to showcase what they actually bear in mind and what they actually have for a product to go. And as a expert in startups and an expert in bringing startups to the industry and to the market. It is our role to bring that to you. And with that, we want to explain you a little bit more about the RootCamp, what we are doing to support startups. And then Gaia will explain you a little bit on how actually the startup education looks like. So you see here already the back of Gaia and some of the startups from our last batch. So a couple of startups that started the education program at a certain date. And in the background, you also see our workshop space of the RootCamp based here in Hannover. The RootCamp is considered being an innovation hub. So we are not only working with startups, we work with the industry and all kinds of different stakeholders. We are privately financed. K+S initiated us, KWS supports us as well, and also SKW as nitrogen producer. But we also looked for support from Smart Agri Hubs, especially to support our activities and support the startup scenery in the livestock segment. Smart Agri, or the German Agri-Food Society, so the society of all the founders in the agricultural segment, is also partnering with us. And we also have some regional partners since we are based in Hannover. So Hannover Impuls is the local economy agency, support agency. And yes, with the Eurotier and also with Agritechnica, we try to bring the startup scenery and the innovations the startup develop closer to the all audience and to the participants of these huge agriculture fairs. We are not only in Hannover, we have also another accelerator in our family in Leipzig. We have a consulting company in Leipzig, and we even have a venture arm focusing on the topic of energy, smart infrastructure, and also digital health. Again, what we do, first of all, we support startups. We are coaching them. We organize pilot projects with the industry. So we know startups very well, we know the industry very well, and we act as a catalyst to enable actually the cooperation between the both of them and lead to the establishment, development of new products and commercially viable corporations. This is also true for the corporates, but there we also add external innovation, so they know everything about the new ideas, new trends, and actually can see through our eyes what will be happening in the market in the next 5 years, because then the startups we are collecting at the early stage will be present in the market. And the whole ecosystem participates in networks and events, and so we can actually have the whole ecosystem being supported with these different stakeholders. This is our team. We are a small team of startup lovers. We are very keen to support education and innovation. We have coaches, innovation managers, and also startup loving students. We try to establish an open platform, so we are not doing it in a closed box, but whatever we do, we try to bring it to a larger plate of audience and enable participants or the participation of other stakeholders as well. Livestock was actually the biggest topic in the last half year. We did that by a public grant, since startups in the livestock area came to us and asked us if we knew other startups from the scene. And so we saw the need, we saw the demand, and we started the project Be Life by support of an EU grant, the Smart Agri Hubs, to close the gap between startups and the livestock industry and the farmers. That is just a small glimpse of the project's timeline. It was just a six months project. So as the first event, we had the in-person kickoff event looking for the challenges that lie in the industry. We had startups there, we had organizations there, and also the industry. Then we were wrapping it together to come up with a digital call for best practices. So we were actively sourcing best practices in the scenery. We're collecting more than a dozen excellent startups that presented their best practices, and this was then all combined in a demo day as in-person network event here in Hannover with more than 50 participants. And the project was being wrapped up with a digital expert talk that is actually also being accessible here at the DLG Connect platform. Today, we want to show you a little bit more about the education of startups. So here we are trying to explain what the startup journey is actually, how the startup craftsmanship, as I normally call it, is looking like. And for that, I'm handing over to Gaia, who is heading this whole program.
Thanks, Philipp. So yeah, in the next couple of slides, we want to introduce you to the acceleration program. So the acceleration program is a targeted to the early stage startups, and it lasts 3 months. But how the all application looks like, you can see it here. So basically, we have an open call for all the startups out there. We scout internationally, and this is, for example, the numbers and the funnel of the batch 3 that just ended. So through the open application that happens first virtually, we gather around 250 applicants, and then as you can see, we went through. So we have a group of experts internally and externally from our corporate partners as well that are rating the startups, and then through video calls and a final pitch event, we decide which are the final participants in the program. Here you see 2 arrows. One goes to the early stage startups, which is what we will I will show you more details in a second, and the other arrow brings to actually we also have a program for later stage startups that do not go through the entire program, but we try to link them directly with the corporate partners and try to bring them together and have some pilot projects between the startup and the corporate partners. So for the batch 3 that just ended, so it was we had 5 startups in the program. It's a 3 months program, and we have like some educational content. Here you can see the 6 focus areas that we have. So startups need support from financing and fundraising and to sales, marketing. We also have intellectual property expert and obviously pitch trainers. And the idea is to give them in a short amount of time the tools to develop and scale up their idea further. And all this is possible through we have more than 50 mentors from different areas of expertise and different industries that are helping the startups. So it's a combination between workshops and one-on-ones. And Philipp, for example, has the weekly coaching, so like personalized coaching with all the startups. And here you can just see some highlights. So we have some networking events, some in which all the partners were able to meet the startups, and we connected also to additional startups. And also we had some team building activities, and we were even hosted by our founding partner K+S, and we were able to see their salt mine, which is close by Hannover. And the program, so the 3 months ends into demo days. In this case, for the first time, we were able to do not just 1, but 2 demo days, both in person here in Hannover. And the topics were, from one hand, livestock farming. So as Philipp mentioned, this was possible through the BeLife project, so this European funded project. And then from the corporate partners, we had the wish to have carbon farming startups. So this is like the combination, how we came up with these two topics. And at the demo days, so these 2 days in the end of August, we had many participants from so different startups, different investors, different other corporate partners, and that came all here to Hannover. We have 13 startups presenting, so we gave the stage not only to the startup in our program, but also other startups that we selected, and overall we had 9 different speakers. So here are some impressions about the demo day. Here is some impression from the program that happened inside RootCamp. So this is our office, and in here you can see some impressions of the program outside. So the one part of the program is like all the panel discussions, and the startup pitches were very important, and outside all the startups had a booth, and we were able to, as you can see, network and enjoy sun and some good food. And again, if you're interested in what happened more specifically at the demo days, we have 2 articles on our blog. If you go on our website and you search for the blog, you will see all the details about the first day about livestock farming, and the second day about carbon farming. And as you can see here, we had like different people that are investors, or for example from the DIN. So we try to really have all actors coming together to discuss these topics. And now the juicy part is, I guess, like the startup pitches. So these are the 5 startups and the 5 founders that we supported in our program. And for each one of them, we will show you like the video in which they are presenting their startup. And we will start with Cynomys, headed by Enrico, who is a startup from Italy.
Hello everyone, my name is Enrico Carta and I'm the CEO of Cynomys. We know that animals need food, care and water to grow and produce. What we forget sometimes is the importance of the air. Air quality inside animal farm affect animal production in terms of meat or milk, animal health in terms of mortality rate, and also animal welfare in terms of use of antibiotics. But to solve this problem, you need to know and measure the air, because you can solve what you can measure. As today is very simple, measure the air quality inside your house or maybe in our cities. It's not the same measure the air quality inside the animal farm, because the compound is very complex. There is a lot of dust, and also there is a lot of corrosive gases for the electronics. 5 years ago, we saw this problem. We saw the correlation between air quality and animal production, health and welfare. But we saw also that the market did not offer a valid instrument for measuring with precision and continuity the air quality inside the animal farm. And what we have created? We have developed and patented a solution for monitoring the air quality inside the animal farms. Today, we are the only existing solution that measures continuously and with precision the quality of the air over the year inside the stables, with over 30 environmental parameters like ammonia, methane, H2S, carbon dioxide, particulate matters. We are helping our customers around the world to improve their farms. And how does it work? We are able to do that with our IoT devices created to resist and measure with precision and continuity the air quality inside the animal farms. The data collected are sent to our cloud platform where machine learning algorithms start to give analysis, and the analysis plus our consultancies give the value to our customers. And which kind of value? With our solution, our customers are able in only 1 year to reduce the mortality by 80%, to increase the production by 10%, and also to decrease the use of antibiotics by 50%. And in this slide you can see some of our partners and customers. We work with food industry, feed industry, pharmaceutical industries, and also universities. For our customer and partners, we collect over 10 million of samples every week from over 200 devices in 17 countries. And why they choose us? All of that is made by us in Italy. We have 100% in conversion. Every customer that try our solution, after that they buy it. We have a production site in Italy, and we will open another production site in the next month. And we have a certified laboratory for calibration because precision needs calibration. We have 100% in terms of revenue growth for 3 years in a row. We are growing very fast. We reached the break-even this year, so we are looking for investors, but also for company for expand our markets. So if you are interested, please contact us.
So that was the presentation of Cynomys by Enrico. Actually, he is a very determined founder. He sold everything before he came up with this idea for measuring and determining all the emissions around livestock within the stable. We are now turning to Colombia.
Yes, so the next founder is introducing his startup is Mauricio, and the startup is called Bialtec.
Hi. The pressure on meat production is high, and in some cases, it grows at the same rate as its demand. We must reduce the impact of side effects on humans, animals, and the environment. We need a transition towards a more sustainable, equitable, and balanced protein system. That means less use of natural resources, lower emission, and healthy. At the end, more protein with less resources and minimal side effects. My name is Mauricio Agudelo, CEO of Bialtec, and I will tell you how we are solving this problem, transforming animal nutrition. Our solution rotates around a common element in this sustainable protein system, the intestines, more specifically, the intestinal microbiome. The intestines are a complex bioreactor, so if we can optimize it and model it, we will be able to produce a sustainable animal protein. As you might already notice, this is a big challenge that requires a combination of cutting-edge technologies and novel approaches. In Bialtec, we are reconfiguring microbiomes toward a more efficient and healthier one, maximizing the absorption of nutrients and minimizing the environmental impact. How do we do it? We set the condition to determine the efficacy of microencapsulated precision feed additives that we rename as microbiomes. In more technical words, we use AI to optimize microbiome models. Then we cultivate a microbial community. After that, we encapsulate them to be added into feed. And once the animal eats them, we collect data from the farm in order to improve the next generation of microbiomes. We have 4 technological units to do that. fermentation, microencapsulation, patent technology, genomics, and data science. Our business model is framed in a circular animal system. We start in Bialtec design the feed additives, then we go to the feed producer to obtain healthy animals, and then Bialtec again. The sales model has two fundamental parts. Consultative sales, it consists of the technical sales of standard precision additives already developed according to the current condition of the clients, and business agreement. They are understood as a cooperation process to develop new additives or microbiomes according to customer issues. It allows more complex additives to keep improving the efficiency in the production. 3 years after launching our technology on the market, we have a significant traction in Colombia, achieving annual growth of more than 3 times, exceeding the break-even point. We have been recognized as a premium supplier of microencapsulated additives by the main Colombian feed manufacturers. Also, we are now entering Peru, Ecuador, and Chile, and we are advancing in business agreement with animal nutrition companies in Europe. Now we have offices in Colombia and in the Netherlands. And last but not least, we have a patent for Colombia, Europe, and US. Some numbers of our traction: we have been nourishing 5 million pets per year, 2,000 heifer per year, 1 million broiler per year, and 1.4 piglets per year so far, improving the efficiency in the production and reducing the side effects. Now, let's talk about the team. We are an interdisciplinary team of 13 people that includes veterinarians, zootechnicians, microbiologists, data science, engineers, and managers. We have been supported by several important organizations such as RootCamp, YesDelf. Now we are scaling up our fermentation process in one of the most important hubs of biotech, Planet BioDelft in the Netherlands, and also we have been supported by universities like Universidad CES or Universidad of Antioquia. Now we are looking for early adopters or companies that are interested in improving their feed diets or their feed products. So please join us to transform animal nutrition and produce a greener and sustainable animal protein. Thank you so much.
So seeing the gut of an animal actually as a bioreactor that can be optimized really catched me. So I'm really looking forward to the development in the next years of Bialtec in South America. They already do more than €1 million of revenue, and since they're now also having a subsidiary at DSM in the Netherlands, we are really trying to support them to enter the European market. Now turning to refinery processes.
Yeah, exactly. So the next funder is Emils, who will introduce a startup called Biorefic.
Hi, my name is Emils. I'm the co-founder and chief business officer of Biorefic. When I started working on a Biorefic project, I was surprised to learn that actually when you harvest oat, then only 70% are the grain, and actually almost 1/3 of the harvest is chaff. And what happens to it? It's mostly burnt. And we have put a lot of energy into it. We have provided fertilizer, we have provided fuel for the tractors, there's labor involved for the harvesting, logistics to take it to the mill, and then all this value generated is mostly burnt. So what we have developed in Biorefic is a technology that can process these lignocellulosic materials and extract out of it the hemicellulose, therefore obtaining a highly prebiotic ingredient that makes the biomass available for digestion for monogastric animals, fish, and ultimately also humans. We're not only limited by oat chaff, that's our starting point because we come from Latvia, in the Nordics. We have large oat growing regions, and this is abundantly available resource. But we're not limited by that, so we can process other fibrous material like wheat straw, rice husks, prunings and cuttings. So woody biomass with very low content of protein. So what does this ingredient which we extract out actually do? In the process of extraction, we also produce polyphenols, which also have a prebiotic effect. And this is something we want to validate, is that actually the fibers and the polyphenols work together in synergy, and feeding the good gut microbes, it improves gut health, increases immunity, and if we look at production animals, that immediately translates into improved feed conversions, better stress tolerance, and better immunity. So we can reduce also antibiotic use. In humans, this is not so measurable, but there several meta-studies have shown that there is a high correlation between higher fiber intake and less mortality from metabolic disease such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other non-communicable diseases. If we look at the split between the markets, most of prebiotics at the moment are used in food ingredients because they are expensive, quite expensive to produce. Therefore, in animal feed, that's a more niche market with limited uptake, and mostly because of the price point. So we, as an early stage startup, we are looking to enter the premium dog foods market in the animal feed area, as well as equine supplements, which is interesting because the digestive system of horses is improved by prebiotics. It's not as in cows, which would ferment these fibers immediately. So the benefit can be realized also in horse supplements. And there are huge challenges, especially in arid climates, for horse metabolism and horse digestion. And it is very underserved market in terms of gut health ingredients. And what is our unique edge is that the process, it doesn't use any expensive enzymes or low throughput processes. It's a highly scalable process which we have adapted from the bioenergy industry, meaning at a certain scale we can produce very affordable ingredients that can be applied widely in different animal feeds, and that opens a huge possibility for an impact improvements, reducing greenhouse gas emissions which come from the feed chain. So improving feed conversion is a direct reduction of the footprint of the farming operations, not to mention other benefits like biosecurity improvement due to antibiotic use reduction, overall improvement of the animal well-being, which are maybe not that easy to measure, but still they are there, because gut health has this huge complex of different effects in different areas. We are now supported by several accelerators, RootCamp, EAT Food, and Mass Challenge, where we explore different angles of our products. So in RootCamp, we are more focused on the livestock industry development. EAT Food is more food and beverage focused, while Mass Challenge has given us great connections in the area of equipment manufacturers and wider access to the value chain, because there's a lot of players involved. So it's those who produce the input materials, the equipment manufacturers, us as the ingredient manufacturers who adapt the technology, and also the market side, which are either feed businesses, farms, food and beverage manufacturers. We were also finalists in the Nutreco Feed and Food Challenge, where we got amazing feedback and mentoring from Nutreco's staff. Biorefic is co-founded by me and Rittershaus. I have a background in business and management consulting, and my education is lawyers, but I have been very interested in biology since high school, and when I was little I wanted to become an inventor. So taking part in this deep technology oriented startup is a great opportunity. But the brains behind the technology is actually Rittershaus. He has done a PhD in biorefining, specifically extracting the hemicellulose out of the biomass, and he worked for more than 7 years in this area. And now we're building on top of his know-how and his experience, also his industrial and process engineering experience, and we're building Biorefic on top of that and commercializing this kind of technology, as we see a huge potential that we can realize by using these biomasses, which are mostly underutilized because they are very hard to process, but we are actually making them open to applications which have never been there before. So currently, we are very keen to partner with the industry and for pilot projects where we can explore different applications of the ingredients we produce. Also looking at possibilities to upcycle biomasses which are produced in the value chain. For example, we are finalizing a collaboration with one of the leading Nordic oat mills, and they are very interested in the upcycling aspect of their side stream, the oat husk. But as I said, we are not limited just to oat husks. We are open to develop and adapt the technology to any kind of biomasses which are high in fiber, low in protein, and underutilized. At the same time, we are also interested in co-developing different solutions, nutrition solutions, together with additive producers or feed premixers. So, for example, one high potential area is combining prebiotics with probiotics, making a so-called symbiotic, which complements both of these components, or combining prebiotics with some kind of an enzyme and looking at the effects in that case, if that kind of product is fed to an animal. Actually, there are already xylo-oligosaccharide based products out in the market for the poultry feed. And to build out a containerized pilot line, which we would be able to transport to different feedstock sources, we are looking for 1.5 million euros to build out the facility, as well as to cover development costs, engineering costs, marketing costs as well, and to complement also project and grant finance, which we are applying to. Thank you for your attention, and if you're interested in working with us, please reach out to me, and we're glad to discuss any type of collaboration. Thank you. I'm Emils from Biorefic, and we are upcycling crop residues into highly functional prebiotic ingredients.
That was Emils from Latvia, showing that it is really important to use new processes to also bring waste materials, waste streams back into the feed system or even the food system. And what would it all be without animal welfare?
Yeah, in fact, the next startup is our local hero from Hannover. So Norman will present you VetVise.
Moin, my name is Norm Caspari. I'm the co-founder and CEO of VetVise. We all know industrial animal farming has to change. VetVise puts the animal back to the center of farming. We help to sustain poultry and pig farming by improving the animal welfare and the farm efficiency. By the end of this year, we take care of the well-being of more than 1 million animals at any time. The best sensor in a barn you could use is the animal itself, because it shows how it feels. But its optimal well-being is not generalizable. It is like for us humans. For some, 20 degrees is the perfect temperature. For others, it's much too cold. Humans and animals can only give the best possible performance if they live in the optimal, perfect environment. Back in the old days, it was possible for the farmer to make sure that every animal has its best environment because he cared for only a couple of animals. It was his eye that fattens the animal. But today, with the global need of industrial meat production, a farmer cannot keep an eye on every animal all the time. With this, we have three main problems. The first one is a lack of data. There's no overview of every animal because there are too much animals and too poorly trained workers to have a close supervision of every animal. This results in a low efficiency and a lack of linked data within the value chain, which also results in a low efficiency. The second problem is the animal welfare, of course. In many cases, the animal welfare could be and should be improved. And there's even a higher demand from society for more and better, traceable, objective animal welfare. The third problem is the environmental impact. We as a society need more sustainability, a higher efficiency for energy, and less ammonia and CO2 emissions. We need to scale the eye of the farmer to solve these problems. So the solution is now to support the farmer by monitoring the animals with cameras and AI. The AI makes sure that the well-being of every animal could be used as a sensor for the perfect environment and a preventive recognition of diseases. And this is regardless of the number of animals. We at VetVise, we use now inexpensive, robust and off-the-shelf hardware in the barn to monitor every poultry or pig. Standard surveillance cameras are used in the barn, connected to a small PC in the barn with a powerful AI to track the animals. With just a €1,000 computer in the barn office, we can track up to 50,000 chicken in real time. The cloud is only used to have access to the tracking results from remote and for remote insights from the farmer or etc., and for recommendations from external experts. This technology makes it so special because it uses the most simple and inexpensive hardware and put all the magic into the cutting-edge algorithms. So with this, we provide 24/7 insights of every animal in the barn. Now all this data is collected and evaluated because this enables us to give concrete recommendations for action for the problems we see, because we know it is not about analysis, it's about really recommendations for action for the farmer. So by comparing the data from many barns, we get the perfect optimal driven barn management. And if the data alone is not sufficient, experts are getting into the loop. And this could be something like increase the temperature by 1 degree, or in the recommendation could be fix the feeding line 4 because there's a misfunction. Or another thing, of course, we suspect a disease, so please call a veterinarian to have a checkup. All this really matters because we have a huge performance spread between the best and the worst farmers out there. The performance gap is about 31%. So only if we now could improve every farmer to the next level, we could have a really, really huge impact. Because if you now put only 50% of the farms to the next level, that would mean an increased profit of 10%. And this is only if you put 50% to the next level. It doesn't mean about having the worst farmer to make it the best. No, it's only for the next level. With this, we know we can now sell our tech to local single farmers globally. So instead of selling our technology to single farmers, we sell it either via distributors or directly to integrators. So integrators mean the whole value chain is vertically integrated. So our customers have the whole value chain under their control from birth to the slaughterhouse. By addressing them, we have the benefit of easy multipliers on the one hand and getting higher efficiency by linking the data on the other. At the moment, our focus is on Central Europe for broiler and pigs. We will expand this area by the end of this year because it's all about a global market. And for every euro which is now paid, the farmer gets 3 euro back. We do this by improving the food conversion ratio, the daily added weight, and a better barn management, and of course by detecting diseases before it is too late. We started in the middle of 2020 and will take care of the well-being of more than 1 million pigs and chicken at any time. By the end of this year, we were able to do this with only a small initial investment and then with our customer revenues, because we believe how important it is to give really customer benefits. By the beginning of next year, we will start the next financial round to accelerate our expansion. We are only able to do this with a really, really strong team behind this. Our founding team has extremely different backgrounds. On the one hand, Johannes, he's a really data-driven veterinarian. Jakob, he has a Silicon Valley background. Or Marco, for example, who is a Zero Tech founder and had a previous exit to Intel. Plus, we have a strong team on our support, with the balance between the old hands and the fresh, innovative people. Together, we can tackle the problem, because we are the eye of the farmer. So, VetVise puts the animal back at the center of poultry and pig farming. We look after the welfare of every animal through continuous monitoring with AI and specific recommendations for action. We improve animal welfare, make it demonstrable, and improve farm efficiency by 5%. So, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me.
So Norman, as a local hero, is one of the starters we always have in our batch, just to get also our activities on the ground here in Hannover. And last but not least, we turn now into the carbon farming area. And Jakob will do what?
Yeah, so a little extra. So as you know, we have 2 topics: livestock farming, which is in direct connection with Eurotier. But we thought it's so interesting topic that we want to show you also the pitch of Jakob. So he's introducing a startup, Seqana, from Berlin, Germany.
As you may know, land degradation is one of the world's most pressing environmental problems, causing famine, political instability, and contributing to the emission of carbon into the atmosphere. If current trends continue, 95% of the Earth's land areas could become degraded by 2050. Enter Seqana. We are here to help solve the global land degradation crisis by building a suite of tools and analytics that help enable regenerative agriculture and restore not only carbon, but also health and stability to our soils. We have a great team that we've built in Berlin, and really what we're focused on, the team is building a software as a service monitoring platform that allows project developers and agricultural companies to monitor their soil organic carbon content. We currently offer 3 products on our platform. That's project origination. That's where we sort of start, where we can analyze a large area of land for its carbon potential and measure degradation. Then we have soil organic carbon ROI calculations as our second feature, which once we have a plot of land, we can help you calculate the potential return on investment on your carbon project. And then once we go into a project, the next phase will be soil sampling. And there we can help you design a stratification and sampling plan that is conform with whichever standards that you select and is aided by our remote sensing based analytics. The beauty of the solution that we offer is that it's 60 times faster, 10 times cheaper, and much more transparent than the current offerings. And the next question that you should probably ask yourself is, okay, so Jakob, how does it work, right? And it's quite interesting. What we've done is we've drawn inspiration from the product at ISRIC at the University of Wageningen called Soil Grids. Soil Grids is a global soil map, which is it's an amazing product, but not quite what we need for regenerative agriculture on a field level. It's great for policy, but not so much on a field level. And so what we've done is we've taken their approach, which basically stacks soil samples, environmental covariates, and satellite imagery, and through a machine learning process makes soil organic carbon maps. And how we've been able to improve on soil grids, at least for our use case, is that we're 70 times higher resolution and up to 9 times more accurate. And you can see that depicted here in the images in front of you. Now, accuracy should be somewhat of a trigger word, right? Okay, what does accuracy mean? And I'm excited to tell you that, Seqana, like I said, is up to 9 times more accurate than soil grids. And we've approached 80% accuracy in certain regions in North America, as well as in Southeast Asia. But, and this is really a big but, accuracy is hard to measure without ground truth data, and there just isn't that much high quality validation data out there. And this is something that we've seen, a trend that we've seen in the industry, that people are trying to approximate accuracies, but what we're doing is compounding uncertainties unless we have really high quality ground truth data. In order to bridge the gap to where we want to be, which is a real high accuracy MRV platform, and where we are, which is the better than soil grids version, we just need more data, right? We need to be able to measure our accuracy along the way, and without really high quality validation data, it's just not possible. So this slide is actually now out of date. This is the slide that I presented a few weeks ago at RootCamp, but I'm recording this now at a later date. We actually have renegotiated some of our funding and have €1 million that we're investing in the next 12 months to soil sampling. And we're doing that with partners, with organizations, and I'm happy to engage with you at a later date to discuss some of that. So as I mentioned, we have €1 million in funding, and that actually came from a renegotiation with the European Innovation Council about how we use our grant that we received from them. We've also had some investment from Regen Ventures in Australia and Agile Partners in Germany. And I'd like to close with the idea that soil carbon is a €46 billion a year opportunity, right? The upside is huge and the downside is huge. And in order to, well, the question that I would like you to ask yourself is, okay, so how is my organization, how am I gaining access to this opportunity? How am I providing access to my organization to this opportunity? Not only can we stabilize our supply chains and regenerate our soils and sequester carbon, but there's actually also a real business opportunity here. And I can tell you that regardless of what your answer is, regardless of how you're going to go about accessing this opportunity, you're going to need more data. And there's really 2 ways that I think that Seqana can help you. The first is through some of the products that I mentioned at the beginning. And the second is through the soil sampling campaigns. We're actively looking for partners in regions around the world with interesting use cases who are interested in going out and doing some soil sampling. That's what we need and I'm very excited to be able to offer that to the RootCamp network and beyond. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from everyone.
So we all know how important it is to tackle actually the impact of carbon storage and finding new ways of dealing with the climate crisis. But after this excursion, we go back to the Euretier. Again, we plan a daily lunch pitch event at the stage of the AgriFuture Lab every day from 12 to 1. We have startups on different topics. And if you're a startup still wanting to or trying to find the decision on if you want to have a booth at the Euretier, you will be warmly invited to also pitch on the stage. Please apply until 23rd of October on our landing page, upload your pitch, and you're close to getting on stage. Actually, that was it from our side. I hope that was an interesting excursion on what is the world of startups actually all about and what will be the startup program on the Euretier.
Yeah, indeed, it was a pleasure to introducing you to RootCamp and our activities, and we hope that you liked the ideas of the startup we selected, and we hope to see you in person at the Euretier.
Please follow us on LinkedIn, reach out to us whenever you have any idea which is still the next challenge to come up to even further support the change of the industry. And we hope to see you all at the Euretier.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.